Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy and Mark. I am
Burk.
I am your host.
MC, Master of Ceremonies.
He's the referee, trying to keep us in line.
The DJ.
Yeah. So
I am the DJ.
I like the way your background's changing colors. That's super cool.
Oh, is it? It's sort of Christmassy, where
like
one of those color wheels that goes around that lights up
amazing.
the foil
really...
Christmas tree.
Man, I wish I could do that.
I should put a foil Christmas tree. You can do
Oh,
it. You have a
fun.
setting on your swank light.
I do.
Yeah, multicolor.
I got to figure that out.
Psychedelic.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk trailers.
Well, here we are.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've got the new film from Luca Guadagnino, who did Call Me By Your Name and the Suspiria redo. He's got a new film coming out called Bones and All with Timothée Chalamet and Mark Rylance, and it looks really and Taylor Russell is actually the star, and she has interesting dietary habits.
Right.
So
are we supposed to know that going in, or is this a spoiler? I guess we'll see if the trailer gives it away or not. Let's see. Let's check it out.
I think it probably will. But so this is called Bones and All, and it's coming out in a week or so. So let's check out the trailer.
All the fine young reflections in a golden eye.
Yes.
All right.
All right, here, let's do it.
Are we ready to roll? Okay.
Yes.
Wake up, Jimmy. All right, here we go. And action.
So you can't spend the night? Not all night. So where'd you move here from anyway? Eastern Shore. Try that.
Dad! You didn't. When the cops get here, you have to be good and gone.
I can't help you anymore. I know it's not your fault. You were born this way. You ate them. I believed you had to. I don't know why.
I smelt you. I didn't know I could do that. I thought I was the only one. I don't want to hurt anybody.
Famous last words.
Are there lots of us?
I don't actually meet many others.
Why'd you offer to bring me along?
You seem nice.
I am nice.
I came looking for you. I smelled you.
You can smell me half a mile away. Can you do that?
Not that far.
I got rules. Never, ever eat an eater. I thought you might be hungry.
For hens?
No.
Who lives here? Is there someone dead up there? Oh, I'm not gonna be like that.
We don't have many options. Either you eat, you off yourself, or you lock yourself up in there.
We're dangerous.
One of us?
Chicks teach me how to smell other eaters.
But we can hurt one another just as bad.
Go. It's too much.
We gotta do this. We have to do it.
You've been following me.
And we got unfinished business.
You don't think I'm a bad person?
All I think is that I love you.
So, do you think they're going to eat each other at the end? I think that's guaranteed ending.
I think it's a classic Thanksgiving film. The food.
I know. I think it's so funny they're releasing it during Thanksgiving.
Well, it's interesting. It looks like a sort of a modern take on a vampire. It's a vampire idea. Other eaters and the idea that you have special powers. You can smell at a great distance, and there's sort of an offshoot of humanity that's hidden and in the darkness, and they have this horrible secret. And it seems very much like almost exact. I mean, you could replace everything with vampires, and I think it might be the same movie almost, or I could be wrong.
No, it definitely has that vibe. It also has that sort of like, two young people in love on the run.
Right.
So it has that, feels like there's a love story there, and how do they survive, in this underworld where they have to eat and, kill
Yeah,
to
and
eat.
can you change your instincts for something like that? I know that they seem like they're sort of insinuating, like you were saying, Brooke, that they're vampires, that they have to eat people
Right.
to survive, even though I feel like, you don't have to eat meat to survive. So can the cannibal also resist eating meat to, survive? But I love how it looks like it's mostly kind of like a kind of Bonnie and Clyde, like on the road, and who knows who they're going to kill on their way. And it reminds me a little bit of Near Dark. Remember when they get kind of in their,
Yeah, I was
they got
about
in their
to say
car and
Near
they have a
Dark.
road
Yeah.
trip,
Right.
but just having, it, and also I wonder if there's some sort of parallel to, you have these strong instincts, you're trying to suppress them, and it's sort of like, in a way, like when you're new, like, new love, and you're trying to suppress your hormones and your feelings, and you wonder, like, will those hormones and desires spill over into the ultimate, bones and all context of, yeah, we'll eat each other and that'll be it.
or maybe the way a lot of, very sadly, a way a lot of non-straight people have felt, like they've been told that that's what they are, that you're a monster, you're an abomination, you're an outcast, and what you want is horrible, and it's destroying the world and all. And if you grow up feeling that way about who you really are, then maybe you feel like a cannibal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe you would
exactly.
feel
Sure.
like, if
A
you believe
shame.
it's shame, and like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm destroying people by falling in love with them. If I
That's a
fall
good
in love
point.
with this person who's the same sex as me, I'm ruining their life. I'm the
That's
bad
right. That's a good
influence.
point.
Maybe, but maybe it's a throwback to feelings like that. I don't know, because that in a way is kind of like what vampire movies are all about.
Yeah, it really is.
Forbidden love.
And I think the director, he goes beyond like just going for like a standard picture. There's going to be, I think, a lot of those themes kind of explored in this. And you're going to have a good script because you have good actors. So you got Timothée Chalamet, you got Mark Rylance. These people that they're going to do good things, or try to do good things.
Yeah. And that's a good
So-
point, because this one of his last movies was about discovering that you're just Timothée Chalamet's discovering he's attracted to men, and he's not quite sure
right.
what to do with those feelings, and he's how far do you take him, and he's kind of discovering things about himself. And I wonder, that's sort of, in a way, kind of similar to this, even though it sounds like they already kind of know what they are, but still trying to deal and trying to change, and change who they are. Who knows what will happen there.
But like with vampires, it sounds to me like that this is they have to eat human flesh to stay alive. Because I think her father character in there says something about I knew that you had to do it to stay alive, or something like that.
You were born
Sounds
this
like
way.
her mother was,
Right.
And then she picked up that trait, and now he's like, you gotta go. You gotta get out of here now.
And it seems like a compulsion, like the way she bit that person's finger, and it was sort of like without consent.
Yeah, like maybe there's some emotional trigger that gets them hungry. Like you have to have a relationship in some way. Maybe it's something like that too. So anyway, it looks interesting.
Or something.
A certain smell, yeah. So you bring in that genre of cannibalism and that kind of stuff, zombie, into sort of a love story in more of a real world, except for this one,
That's right.
obviously thing. So
so we have a poster.
Okay.
Before we sign off, so they're not going into horror much at all. There's a teeny hint with the shape of the heart being kind of rough near the bottom, and they have a little bit of red at the top. But this,
With his hair is red.
His hair's got a little bit of that pink because his hair's dyed. But I wonder too, like, if this wasn't called Bones and All, we didn't know what we knew. This would look just sort of like teenagers in love, forbidden. Maybe it's a racism thing. Who knows? But it's like you could almost go a bunch of different directions on what this movie is, and I'm sure it'll be horror, but it's probably going to be a lot more than that. Horror with some more depth and emotion.
Yeah, that kind of horror, like Let the Right One In or something, where there's
Yes.
a little bit more
Very good
depth
point.
than
Right.
in the way that the film is made. Because I think horror films, a lot of times they have a certain way that they're made. They do the setup, they have the types of characters, the tropes, the character stereotypes, and all those things. And it kind of, in a way, is comforting, because you're like, okay, I know who this person is. I know what's going to happen to her. I know what's going to happen. And I know that the franchise masked thing is going to appear in this shadow, But this one seems like like some of the great horror films. Yeah, I always talk about Hereditary, but where you don't know what's going to happen next, which is always, you like when I see this trailer and I see Timothée Chalamet's character in it, he doesn't look like a typical victim. He's not like the guy saying, only have one more week left before I get go back home. He's not like telegraphing his fate in the trailer. He might be, you never know. What is she going to kill him? Is he going to survive? Is he going to kill her? You don't know, which is kind of cool when you have a horror film that's done in a different style.
It makes the horror that much more real because it's not in that sort of comfort zone of typical horror films. It's
not going to be like picking off the characters one by one and who's going to be the last girl,
And it is based on a YA novel. So it's 2015. So that'll probably be a lot about romance, a little bit about horror, kind of like Twilight. I'm guessing it's going to be similar to that, where it's going to be make it sexy, but cannibalism is not nearly as sexy as being vampires. But maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll make it happen. But they did have one scene in that looked pretty bloody and disturbing.
I think it's going to be bloodier. But it's going to be bloodier than Twilight because this guy did Suspiria. He's not afraid. I don't think he's afraid of that. We'll see. I mean, I might be wrong, but
from what I understand, I've only seen snips, but the Twilight movies were YA movies.
Yes, they were.
The books were YA, and then the movies were trying to appeal to the same young people. So I think this one maybe is a YA book that's maybe, I don't know. I haven't read the book, or series or whatever, but it looks like maybe this one's going to try to appeal to a slightly more sophisticated audience than Twilight.
And you have Chalamet, who's so great, and he's been in so many
great
in
films. Everything, literally.
And I mean, Dune, he just totally carried that movie. I mean, he's a huge talent. So getting that guy, landing him, and and also since technically the same director kind of made his career in a way, like kind of he exploded on the scene after that. So I'm interested in seeing him play this kind of like hillbilly character. I mean.
And he's got a presence for sure. He's got like a heavy presence without being heavy. So, I mean, I hate to make the comparison because I think it's probably been done a million times, but that sort of James Dean vibe, where there's an actor who just seems like he's not an actor. He's a guy that they're filming,
right.
Which is
you don't see the acting there.
He's got a lot of vulnerability in his portrayals. So I'm watching it.
Bones and all. A great Thanksgiving fare, everybody.
Thanksgiving night. We're gonna see.
Interesting trailer. Yeah, it looks like maybe you're in for some scares and blood and
romance and love
romance. Burk. Don't forget romance.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was on the verge of saying a doomed romance.
That's the subtitle.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching as always.
There's no happy ending here for cannibals, that's for sure.
No chance. Bye. See everybody.
Bye.